Hi everyone. It's another day. We don't know what day this is. This could be day zero. We could just create a whole new calendar. Hi everyone. Welcome. I know it's another day in a surreal reality, and it feels like we want the director to come in and stop this crazy movie, and we want the reality show to end. But this is the reality we're in right now. And whether we like it or not, the only way to begin to flourish in this reality is to realize that it's here and that we have many ways to be in this reality. One of which is to be afraid. But that is legitimate. Being afraid in this reality is not abnormal. You're not weak. You're not lesser than. It's normal to be afraid. So many people are feeling afraid. And this is an instinctual human species survival related emotion, reaction to have, fear. All of us have fear when our resources are attacked, when we are under survival, when we are feeling threatened, we feel fear. So fear is normal and human. So you're going to experience waves of fear. There are days that fear is going to be high and acute, and you're just going to want to get into your blankets and not see anyone for the rest of your life. And other days you're going to feel like you're fine and you're on the top of the world, and then you're going to sink down again. So be prepared to feel afraid and a multitude of different feelings. Some days you're energized, some days you're going to be vulnerable, some days you're tremulous, some days you're going to be optimistic. This is going to be normal because you are now caught up in the middle of the tunnel between two realities. That's what happens when we are in between two realities, between the old and the new. And this is the reason why, and I am a therapist, so I see this a lot, why people have a hard time changing, letting go of relationships, letting go of jobs, because of this in-between phase. I call it no man's land or no woman's land. It's the land between the old and the new. And this is where we are right now. You see, the virus has plunged us into no man's, no woman's land. We're in between the old and the new, and the tunnel is bloody dark, and it's scary, and it's ominous, and we don't know when it's going to end. So how do we live in the tunnel between the old paradigm and the new paradigm, between what was and what isn't yet? And it's this dark tunnel in between that is scary because we don't know. It is a deep unknown. And in this unknown, in this cave, in this pit, in this quicksand, in this tunnel, whatever analogy you want to use for it, there are a lot of feelings that come up. And this is natural. You're going to feel high and low, up and down, thick and thin, lost and found. And your gift to yourself is to watch it. So the way I imagine my coping is that on one hand, I'm freaking out. Okay, I'm feeling anxious, nervous, scared, pessimistic, angry, frustrated, right? That's all the feelings on this hand, say. But this hand is a whole other story. So I want you to envision first that fear is a normal response. With fear comes a whole host of other emotions. Sometimes fear creates elation, like you feel like you're giddy with excitement because you woke up. But it's all related to fear. All these sorts of highs and lows are related to fear. So first understand you are going to be afraid, but with fear comes all sorts of strange feelings. Okay, you're going to want to call up your ex-boyfriend or your ex-girlfriend and say you're sorry. You're going to want to call up your ex-boyfriend and ex-girlfriend and blast them for something they said 30 years ago. You're going to want to call up your classmates. You're going to want to reconnect with the whole world, your milkman, mailman, everyone. So weird things come up now because you're in a mode of survival and you don't yet know where to go. The next thing I want you to understand is that you're in the middle zone right now. You're in transition, in a dark tunnel right now. It's dark only because it's unknown, yes? Not dark because that's bad. It's just unknown, and you're in the middle. between the old and the new. This is a really shitty, scary, crappy place to be. And this is why you never changed much in your life, because you're in the middle. And this middle zone is why most people don't make changes, because it's a freaking unknown place. You've never been here before. That's why we don't want to change. We'd rather stay in the old stinky relationship or in the old stinky job, because it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't know, right? Our parents told us it's better to be with the devil you know than the devil you don't know. But this virus didn't give us a choice. It just threw us into the middle zone. We are in the middle. But the beautiful thing is we all are in the middle. We're all here. And we can do this together, but it's an individual call, right? It's individual, because while we're together, we're all in our little cocoons. So we have to rise individually, and then I'm going to give you other steps. So recognize the fear. With the fear comes all sorts of confusing emotions, all sorts of like ups and downs. And imagine all those fears on one hand. Along with fear is also this crazy optimism and elation, yeah? You're going to feel all sorts of crazy things. You're on a roller coaster on this hand. Then you're in the middle. And the tunnel is unknown, it's long, it's scary, it's between the two paradigms, right? Who you were before is not here anymore. What the world was is not here anymore. And you know that the ripple effect of the old falling down, the castle crumbling, the ripple effect is in motion now, but the new hasn't been created. And the new is undefined. And you wanted in the old paradigm to always know the future. Now you're looking in the future and you have no idea. The future could go any way. It could go any way. You know, the future could go any way always. But now you're realizing the wisdom of what the wisdom teachers always told you, that the future was unknown. You're like, yeah, the future is unknown for all of you. I'm going to know my future because I'm going to control my present. And the wisdom teacher smiled and said, as much as you try to control your present, you cannot know the future. And you're like, yeah. You don't know your future. I know my future. And now, collectively, ubiquitously, universally, nobody knows the future. But this is wisdom. This is wisdom. Don't forget this when you enter out of the tunnel. We never knew our future. But now we're like seeing it right here. Holy cow, we did not know anything before. What was I thinking? Okay, so now you're in the middle. Understand that in the middle, the butterfly hasn't formed, and we don't know if the butterfly will ever form. So you're just molting. And in the molting is decompensation, right? So you're not yet formed. You're undefined. See, I get excited when I am shedding my skin, but most people don't get excited by shedding skin. They're terrified. But you can go two ways. You can either be excited to shed your skin or terrified to shed your skin. Me personally, I don't think I'm ever that amazing, so I'm always happy to shed my skin because I always know a better version of me needs to evolve. I'm not so attached to my skin. I'm like, good. Let me shed. I need it to be on my knees. I like to be on my knees because this is my spiritual practice. Go on your knees. Go on your knees. Not to pray, but to let the ego go on its knees. The ego dissolve. So if you can, allow yourself to let go of the old, to let go of the excess, to let go of the comfortable. You can join me in this nebulous phase of going, holy cow, now what? Holy cow, now what? Where will I transform? How will I transform? And this unknown, this X factor, which I always say we are in bed with, we're always in bed with X. The X of life, the X factor, the unknown of life. If you can join me to just imagine that this is possibly an amazing place to be. It's scary as F, but it's also filled with possibility. Filled with possibility, yes? So this is where we are, in the tunnel. Now, what do you do in this tunnel, right? How do you cope? You cope in the only way that every wisdom teacher knew how to cope, which is you take it day by day. moment by moment, moment by moment by moment by moment by moment by moment by moment. This means that when you see your mind go to the past, you cut it. When you see your mind go to the future, you cut it. Now, this technique, this power to cut our mind from the past and the future, our children have. Our children know how to do this. They don't need to learn how to cut the past, cut the future. They are naturally, as I call them in my book, gurus of living in the moment. And the reason we parents clash with our children is because there's a clash of time zones. They live in the present, we live in the past, we live in the future. Because as adults get conditioned, as we grow up chronologically, we get more effed up in our brain. Why? Because culture effs us up. Culture tells us, live in the past, regret, regret, regret. Live in the future, hope and have faith and imagine the future and live in the future. Culture conditions us. Children are unconditioned by culture, so they live in the present. But we adults, masters of being totally pawns of culture. So we learn, we condition our mind out of the present moment into the past, into the future. Well, guess what? This virus is teaching us what every child knows and what every wisdom teacher wants us to know, which is live in the present. So when meditators meditate and the Zen monks, the teachers go by the monks meditating, they can tell when the monks are falling asleep, they can tell when the monks are in reverie about their future or thinking about their past, and they give them one tight spiritual slap, okay, to wake them up, to go, hey, where are you living? You living in the future? It isn't here. So it's only in your imagination. All your what ifs are all in your imagination. The only moment is now. Now, sure, you can put some milk in your refrigerator, you can buy some damn toilet paper, and you can go count your money, okay? And you can make plans for the future, but you can only do it in the now. You can't do it by constantly conjuring up the what ifs. So all of us are doing the what if. What if I die? What if she dies? What if he dies? And that's normal. It's on this hand. But on this hand, we're going to create another power resource that is going to be an antidote for the hand of fear. And the thing that needs to shift is you living in the what if and move into the what is. What is? What is? The virus is your Zen master, is your wisdom teacher. It has given you one big, tight spiritual slap to go, humanity, wake the F up. Okay, no, the Zen master and the virus wouldn't say it so rudely, but I'm lovingly saying it, that's what the message of this, the deeper message of this virus is that humanity needed to wake up. The old paradigm needed to be crumbled and the new needed to be formed. But we are in between, and that's why we're so scared, because we don't know how it's going to go. So the way to manage the situation is to take charge of your mind. So fear on one hand, but we're going to create an antidote with the other hand. We're not telling fear to go away. It's okay. Fear can stay. We're not afraid of fear. Fear is normal. Fear is human. But along with the fear comes a whole host of other skills. And the most powerful skills you can have now are your skills of mindfulness and your skills of consciousness and spirituality. So recognizing fear is normal, it's human, it's crazy, but you don't have to ride the fear train. You can watch the fear train on the platform. And now we're going to create a whole host of other skills. The first skill is recognizing where we are. We're in the freaking tunnel. And the tunnel is scary because the old is not here and the new is not here. So who am I? Who am I without the mask, right? Literally and figuratively. Who am I without my past and without my future? Am I able to be me in the present moment? Am I able to understand that I am pure consciousness, that I am pure energy, that I didn't need all that I had in the past and I can survive in the present without knowing the future? This is what it means to live in as you are, which is pure consciousness. Pure consciousness doesn't need past. Pure consciousness doesn't need future. Pure consciousness understands it only lives in the present moment. And this is who we all truly are. We are truly pure essence, pure consciousness, pure energy. And energy will transform. Some of us will lose our physical form or know of people who've lost their physical form. But even though we lose our physical form, the energy will transform. The energy is endless. It is never created nor destroyed. It never started. It can never end. It always was and always will be. This is the nature. It's physics. It's just never ending. Energy will always transform. You will transform even if your physical form dies. So there will be physical death because physical death is transient and impermanent. So as you understand where you are in the tunnel, you begin to understand how you needed to let go of the past and enter the present moment as pure consciousness. The second thing is you transform your what if thinking to what is. What is? Okay, the what ifs I can plan for in the isness of the now, but I can't take care of every what if. So as you are worried right now and as you are anxious, you will have a million what ifs. So we have to transform that to the what is, to the what is. And the way to do that, you have to enter the present moment. And the mantra that I use every day is each day, moment by moment. Each day, moment by moment. Each day, moment by moment. The third thing that we have the power to do in the tunnel, the third thing we have the power to do in the tunnel is to understand that we are essentially and eternally adaptive. We are by nature adaptive. The way the human species came to be is through adaptation. We are the masters of adaptation. So you hold within you skill number 3. You can adapt. We're not in the old. We're not in the new. We are in the tunnel. The tunnel requires certain adaptive skills. You have them. So adapt. Adapt. We're here now. We're not in the what you wanted. We're not in the way it should have been. We are in pure adaptation mode. Adapt. Adaptation means every day you have to be fluid. You don't know what the day is going to look like. Is it going to rain or is it going to shine? But the beauty of your capacity to be adaptive is that you can meet the day. You can. If you tell yourself you can, you can. The only reason you can't meet the present moment is because you aren't adapting. You are clinging. You are craving. Clinging to the past, craving to the future. When you cling to the past or crave to the future, you're not in the present moment. If you're not in the present moment, you can't adapt. So your challenge now is to adapt or sink. You can adapt. You can do this. But understand the things that are blocking you from doing it is clinging to the past, craving the future. So every time your thoughts go to the past and the future, spiritually slap yourself, come back to the present moment. And in the present moment, you say, what do I do now? Yeah, I can buy some water, I can buy some medicine, whatever. But after that, I can only enter the present moment. Skill number 4, after you adapt, and you have to constantly adapt, adaptation never ends, is you understand that you have the power to alchemize into action. What does that mean? Is that every moment can be either a passive, dependent, infantile moment, or it can be a grown-up, powerful, resilient moment, right? Our tendency, because we've been all raised by hierarchical dominant parents, our tendency is to enter a very infantile state of dependency. So we're all just waiting. We're waiting for the president, waiting for the governor, waiting for the surgeon, and waiting for the virus to end. Well, that's one way to be, but there's another way to be, and that is to be an alchemist. Alchemizers know how to take the ordinary and alchemize it into gold. They take this moment and they go, how can I make this into gold? And the ones who spiritually survive at life is how do they take the crap and convert it into gold? This is my motto in life. I'm like, you're giving me crap, you're giving me shit, universe, I'm going to make it into gold because I'm an alchemizer. And each one of you is an alchemizer, and I want to help you awaken that within yourself. To alchemize, though, you cannot be passive. That's for children. That's for infants, spiritual infants. Spiritual powerhouses take it into action. Action is the only way. Action is the only way to transform your life. So I'm waking you up. I'm reminding you to go. You are an alchemizer. You can turn this into action. Now, action doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be on a stage or in front of a video. No, action is a myriad of things. And let me tell you, at the end of the day, action is only 2, fear-based or love-based. So it doesn't matter how grand it looks or how egoic or how many people you reach. That's not what the universe is vibrating on. The universe is vibrating on whether your action is fear-based or love-based. Fear-based or love-based. It doesn't matter if you're on a podium or in your garden, with your soil in your hand or hundreds of people in front of you. Action is only based on fear or love. So now you have a choice. Which will you enter? Action based on fear or action based on love? Each day when I'm awake now, I go, holy cow, I'm still alive. I didn't get the corona. Okay. So now how do I alchemize this moment day by day, right? I can self-care. I can take care of my body. I can create immunity. I can create health. I can go on a run. I can take some vitamins. I can eat some vegetables. What can I do to nourish my body? And then how do I extend the self-love into love for the others? I can plant a flower. I can share a poem. So much alchemy can happen into action. But the first place we have to alchemize is in our own consciousness and raise the consciousness in our own lives. And then skill number 5, I think I'm on number 5, is we have to enter altruism. Altruism means service. How can I show up for you? How can I show up for myself? That I already did. I alchemized my own life into action. I cleaned up my home. I cleaned up my body. I cleaned up my routine. I cleaned up my email box. I cleaned up my closet. I cleaned up my parental relationships. I cleaned up my other relationships. And then now, once I've done that, skill number 5 is alchemy, is altruism. I need to move into service. How can I show up for you? Who needs me right now? How can I show up in service? How can I give some part of myself to somebody else? I can give through service, through kind, or cash. How can I? And just by doing that, the entire vibration begins to change, and the fear that we have is still there, but now we have the antidote. And now we can enter this unification within. So the fear is not overwhelming us, but now we're working together. The fear is there. We're like, I'm going to watch the fear, but I'm also creating my own immunity, my own antibodies, my own inoculation. And I'm creating the bomb that can handle this fear. Yes? So there's 5 skills. I don't even remember what they are. I've forgotten all of them, but you can listen to this again. But the first thing is to understand that we have the fear, recognize, acknowledge, be aware. I think the second one was to become aware of the present moment, that the only place to live is in the present moment, in the tunnel. You're in the tunnel, live in the present moment. Number 3 is you can adapt, you're an adapter. Number 4 is you can alchemize into action, and you can be altruistic, right? These are your skills. And so with these skills, you can enter your fear and connect to it. Don't dismiss the fear, but enter power, right? Unify. So this is not about spiritually bypassing the fear. This is about going, fear, I see you. I got you. I got you. I know what to do. I have tools in my toolbox. And this is where you create power in your mind. And your only superpower is this. And once you begin to live like this, if you take these 5 skills into your life as we come out of the tunnel, you will be at a different vibrational level. You will be a spiritual and emotional powerhouse. And you will know, I survived that. I'm not going to be afraid of anyone now. I'm not going to be afraid of somebody calling me stupid or fat or ugly or care about my beauty anymore or waste my life on dumb crap anymore. I am going to raise my vibration and come out of this a powerhouse. So when I come out of this, right, I'm not whining about the regular crap that I whined about in my old paradigm. Oh, someone doesn't like me. Someone didn't invite me for their party. Oh, I'm a little bit fat here. I'm not going to care about that because I get it now. Life is precious. I'm immortal. I'm not immortal. I'm freaking mortal. A virus can wipe me out. And I'm going to understand my place in this universe, and I'm no longer going to live in my ego and waste my time. I'm going to understand that I have this moment only, and I'm going to raise my vibration to live in this moment fully. So this is how I'm going to come out of this virus and understand that the virus of my mind needs to be cleaned out. My virus of my ego needs to be cleaned out. And that's what this virus is doing. It is waking up humanity. It's getting our humanity's ego on its knees and saying to humanity, the old paradigm, the old guard is done. There's a new emerging. But right now, this in the tunnel is where the alchemy happens. In this is where the new is going to emerge from this tunnel, yes? So I've told you how fear, what to do with the fear, combine it, integrate, and this fear will then become your powerhouse. Pain is the portal to the highest consciousness. We humans do not learn without pain. Pain is your portal to consciousness. So when you feel the pain, feel it. But now, alchemize it into gold. So this is your power. So when you emerge, we are a different species. Our vibration has changed. And we will enter and create and give birth to a new earth. Thank you, everyone.